Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Lucklight here, and we're continuing Final Fantasy III for the NES. And we are in the Cave of Bahamut, or Bahamut, however you want to pronounce it. I've heard both, relatively often. And I say both, one more than the other, but you know what I mean. Anyway, we're going to try to get through his cave and reach him, and hopefully punch him in his face and gain his powers. But first we need to deal with all manner of, I'm guessing, dinosaurs. And the fact that I am already been ambushed is always a fun telling sign. After this particular dungeon though, we get to switch back into our Magic Knight / Dark Knight / Samurai forms and wield the dark swords once more to get to the Cave of Darkness, which apparently holds the final item that I need to enter the final area. But of course, after you get that, there's one more dungeon I have to do before I can take on the final set of dungeons. But what I'm trying to get at is we're relatively close to the end. And if we keep this pace, we'll be at the end sooner than it feels like, honestly. Feels like this game just keeps going. It's just dungeon after dungeon after dungeon after dungeon. I will say that the first Final Fantasies were kind of lacking in the variant areas department. It was always either caves or dungeons or towers. And one after another after another after another. I think it was only after Final Fantasy IV that we started seeing really variant areas. I mean, we've had a couple here. I mean, the Tower of Owen was pretty new. The floating castle made out of the tree, that was relatively different. I don't think I've ever seen that before or again. Could be wrong though. But Final Fantasy IV was like that too. A lot of caves, a lot of dungeons. And then there was this one huge tower that just over and over, different sections of the same tower. And then one tower that wasn't even on the map. You just kind of went to it. No idea where the heck it is. But Final Fantasy V, I believe, is when they started really introducing things other than caves, like open world dungeons, if you will. Like, here's a forest. Or here's desert. And then of course 6 had everything from mines to mountains to, you know, just towns full of jerks. Factories, labs. Come on, really? Stop. Stop that. I'm catching a beating here. Let's deal with that swiftly. Don't hit roll. Hit everybody else. Everybody else is much tastier than roll. Thank you. Stand up. Alright, much better. Yeah, and then you had FF7 where you had, you know, futuristic towns, you had a couple of forests, you had all sorts of things, so as the technology improved and the number of Final Fantasies went up, they had more to work with and didn't just put cave after cave after cave after cave after cave after cave after cave. I mean, well, FF1 had some variety to it as well. You had a cave, and then you had a volcano, which was just kind of a cave. You had an ice cave. Alright, maybe not. There was no variety there. Never mind. You had a tower at the end. I guess you could count that. And it was kind of a futuristic battle station. Which honestly I never really picked up when I was a kid, because I mean, that game came out when I was very young. I was like 2 or 3. And of course I tried to play it when I was 2 or 3. And it went probably as good as you expect. That game is pretty darn tough. You know, turtle shell can I... Choco Rage, really? I will say that Final Fantasy I for the NES probably had the most changes to it as it traveled through time to... You know, there was a remake almost on every single system, starting with like the PS1, you had one on the Wonder Swan, you had one on the PSP, you had one on the Game Boy Advance, and as it traveled through time, I guess, the game got easier and more accessible. The first iteration, there were a lot of problems with it. There were a lot of glitches, a lot of, you know, terrible things that could happen. Let's see what I can grab here. What are in these chests? Let's look. Might want to grab that. But I remember, you know, the NES version, which had the magic system, a lot like the one we're using now, where it's like you have, you know, 9 uses of a level 1 spell, and 9 uses of a level 2 spell, and you know, God's one. But then the PS1 version had what they called easy mode and what they called hard mode. Easy mode turned your magic into a, you know, like a pool of magic points. So, you know, you could use your magic, like, instead of saying, like, here where it says 21, 13, 12, 11, it would say, like, you know, you have 200 magic points. Where this system here, this 21, 13, etc., that is a Dungeons & Dragons type of spell casting. You have so many level 1 spells, so many level 2 spells, etc. Can't carry anymore. Oh, I see what's going on here. It actually stops you from fighting the boss until you have at least 1 slot open. That way, when you beat him, it doesn't, you know, screw up giving you the Bahamut spell. Kind of genius, and very much appreciated. Alright, let's give him a try. Wonderful. See if you can beat me. Oh, there he is. Just like the first time we fought him, except this time we're not running away. This time we're going to try to fight him. But yeah, the PS1 version of Final Fantasy I had easy mode or hard mode. Game Boy Advance one and beyond just locked you into easy mode. So, what I'm trying to get at is the first version was definitely the hardest version, and that's the one I played when I was 3 years old. Final Fantasy I is actually the first game I've ever beaten in my entire life. Took me a few months. Also, ouch. Ineffective. Oh, alright. I wonder why. But I won't complain, I guess. But, there was always an argument... Oof. I'm getting blasted to Kingdom Come here. And And the heals are small. I'm gonna have to beat him before he beats me. Alright, I can deal with that. Hey, we got him. Nice. But there's an argument about Final Fantasy that what kind of Final Fantasy you like depends on which one you started with. If you started with any of the first 6, you're probably going to like those type of games, like these ones here. If you started with 7 or beyond, you're probably going to like those ones, where they're more futuristic. But, I mean, I don't know if that argument has any weight. I've played them all, honestly. I'll accept 13. I never played 13. Is there a reason? Well, yeah. I heard it's... I absolutely heard that I'm not gonna like it. And, my favorite Final Fantasy is 6, which, after saying that, pretty much people are like, yeah, don't play 13. It will feel very discouraging to you. And I'm like, alright, I'll probably still play it. I won't play it on the channel. Promise. I promise. You'll see no FF13 on the channel, except for me talking about it right here. And if I ever talk about it again. But no gameplay. And honestly, I've been told that I should play it just for masochistic reasons, or so I can do a type of like Mystery Science Theater 3000 kind of bashing, like roasting it. But I don't know. I don't know if I ever will. But anyway, I went off on huge tangents on this episode while I'm traveling through the Cave of Bahamut. We beat Bahamut. We got his summon. There it is. I'll stick it on him, so now we have all the summons. And unfortunately we need to wander out. We can't just warp out, because warping out would take me outside where we... Come on, really? Warping out will take me out to where the fight was. Unfortunately it's programmed that way. I better heal. Losing now would be a terrible, terrible trouble. But anyway, this will probably take me a bit, so I'll talk some more about Final Fantasy. Yeah, Final Fantasy VI, I promise, will be the absolute last game I ever play on this channel, so it'll kind of be my finale if I ever decide to, you know, close up shop. There are no plans to close up shop at this point. I'm having a lot of fun playing these. I mean, it's January now. I've been around for maybe a year and a half now. Between when I'm recording this right now and that time that I upload it, I can't really tell how many subscribers I will have. You know, if you've subscribed to me, you know, absolutely thank you. I absolutely, you know, adore each and every one of you for sticking around and watching me just chug through these games. A lot of these games are, you know, games I played through my childhood, so relatively, you know, had a good time with them, good memories with them. We've played some new stuff. We played, you know, we played Persona 3, which I never played before until I did it for the channel. We played Hacknet. Played Undertale. But, you know, if there's ever a point where life takes a turn and I can't do this anymore, and it's a point where I can say, like, okay, I'm stopping. It's not like, you know, suddenly, like, you know, the world explodes or something like that, and I just can't do it anymore. But if it's a controlled ending, I will play Final Fantasy VI. Which is, you know, it's the game I played once a year since I was it came out in '94, so since I was 9. So, I mean, we're up to 21 times. And the game still... I still adore it. Absolutely adore it. The points where, you know, you get the hit, the sad hit, I still tear up. The parts that are really awesome, I still get revved up, you know, it hasn't changed for me. And I believe that every one of us has a game like that, that will always be our, you know, our calling card, if you will. Like, you know, my best friend's game, one of my best friend's game is Chrono Trigger. One of my other best friend's game is Final Fantasy IX. You know, we each have our game that we hold dear to our heart. And honestly, if you're watching this and you're listening to me rant a minute past I'm supposed to, tell me in the comments below what your game is. What's your calling card? What's the game that you go back to when you're having a bad day? What's your game that, you know, you can probably beat with your eyes closed and, you know, still moves you in emotional ways, and, you know, the game you just adore? It'll be the game that you take with yourself on a desert island, if you, of course, could play it on a desert island, if you know what I mean. So yeah, let me know. I'm interested. And if it's a game I've played, I'd love to talk to you about it. So let me know. I'm 100% genuinely interested in what you have to say. But anyway, I've been going on for longer than I should, so I'm going to wrap it up for now. On the next episode, we get ourselves back on track, the main quest line, and we head to the Cave of Darkness, where we can find an item that will get us to the final areas. So I hope you join me for that. My name is Lucklight, thank you for watching, have a good one.